Hi there, Dean Linnell here with the Linnell Group at the Whistler Real Estate Company, and welcome to the Whistler Real Estate Ask Me Anything show, where I answer all your Whistler real estate questions every week. So let's jump right into it today with today's topic. Now, there's a little bit of confusion out there in the marketplace in Whistler and in Pemberton. A lot of realtors like to say they're number one. We see this on billboards, we see it on bus benches in Vancouver, we see it all over North America. Realtors like to shout from the highest places that they are the number one agent in town. And they always have to back that up with actual statistics from their listing system, be it the MLS or the Whistler listing system, the WLS. And so there's always a little fine disclaimer at the bottom saying for what statistic that they're using that metric for, whether it's the number of properties that have been sold for the year or the dollar volume of property they've sold for the year. But we see this time and time again. And I wanted to just make sure that we're all on the same level playing field, knowing what the actual statistics are in our market. And I wanted to talk today about the actual real estate companies in town and the number of deals and transactions that each company does, as well as the dollar volume that they do. Now, this is kind of confusing because not everyone is talking from the same playlist here, but we need to be looking at the Whistler listing system sales statistics that come out from the back end of our system. We keep track of them. All the companies in town have the same data to look at. And I'm going to just share it with you now because we have compiled it for last year. Now let's go through and have a look at the next slide here. I'll show you right now. So this is what's called percentage of dollar volume. And this is the statistics for Whistler. We're going to get to Pemberton in a moment. So if you see on this, these two pie charts, the red indicates the Whistler Real Estate Company. Now I work for the Whistler Real Estate Company. We are the Linnell Group at the Whistler Real Estate Company. But with the Whistler Real Estate Company as a whole, we have done in the past, in 2018, we did 42% of the percentage of dollar volume. So let's say there's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of sales that have taken place in Whistler and in 2018. And of those hundreds of millions of dollars, we did 42% of that business. Now, the next, if you look across from the top, the darker gray, that is 8%, and that is Sutton Real Estate. 8% was Sutton. Sotheby's did 3% of the business, and 21% was Engel & Volker's, formerly Thornhill Real Estate Group, okay? Then you move down, that other dark gray sliver is 3% for McDonald Realty. 7% of all the dollar volume in Whistler in 2018 was done by out-of-town realtors. So mostly that's agents that have come up with clients from Vancouver and have sold some real estate in Whistler. So only 7% has come out of Vancouver. And because the market is so slow in Vancouver, we are seeing a lot of realtors trying to branch out and get some deals done and help their clients in other areas so they can earn a living. So we've got Vancouver realtors starting to do a little bit of business in Whistler. And it used to be a couple percentage points. And last year, because the Vancouver market has been so slow, agents are bringing clients up and trying to do some business in Whistler. And that's fine, but these agents don't know the market like we do. So they're really not serving their clients as well as they could, in my opinion. Now we move over to the very bottom bit of the pie and the top circle, and that's RE/MAX. So RE/MAX Sea to Sky Real Estate did 16% of the total dollar volume in Whistler in 2018. So compare 42% to the other big companies. So we did 42%, far and away the biggest in town. Then you went to Engel & Volker's, Thornhill Real Estate Group, 21%. RE/MAX did 16%. Now go to the bottom circle on this chart, and you're going to see the percentage of sold ends was, I'm going to flip this so you've got able to see it. And if you go to, I'm just going to take a look here. So if you, to show you myself there, you go and take a look here, the percentage of sold ends. So when you're doing a real estate transaction, there's the buyer and there's the seller. And these are each what we call an end, okay? So one deal, one sale has two ends. So for all the sold ends in Whistler, the Whistler Real Estate Company in red, you can see in the bottom circle, was 39% of all the ends that were done in town. 7% for Sutton, 3% for Sotheby's, Engel and Volkers was 18%. Then 3% were other agents, so it could be other realtors across the province. And then out of town agents, mostly that's Vancouver, would be 8%, and Remax did 22% compared to our 39% of sold ends. So now let's flip over to the next chart, and I'll show you this. This is for Pemberton, and I'm going to minimize myself here real quick. So for Pemberton, you can see that the Whistler Real Estate Company did 58% of all the ends in Pemberton. Remax did 26%. Engel and Volkers went down to just 5%. Sutton was 3%. Sotheby's was 2%. And out-of-town realtors were 5%, with McDonald Realty doing 1%. So you can see there that that is a very big difference in Pemberton, mainly because we have a dedicated office there with a team of agents working specifically in the Pemberton market, and Remax does too. So because we've got dedicated offices up there, those two companies do the most business, with the Whistler Real Estate Company, of course, doing the most business again. So I just wanted to share with you guys some of those distinctions, just to try and clear up some of the marketing out there in the Whistler area, where some realtors say they do this much and others say they do this much. This is what the companies as a whole are doing in Whistler and in Pemberton. And those are statistics that are coming directly out of our listing system here. So all the agents in town and all the companies in town are on the same playing field. They can see exactly what the statistics are. Nothing's been doctored. These are the stats that we've been tracking. And these numbers are not really changing too terribly much over the years. If you look back over the past 10 years, 15 years that we've been doing these statistics, we've actually been doing them for 20, 25 years. But over the past 10, 20 years, it's really been about the same. The Whistler Real Estate Company, because we were one of the very first companies here in town, real estate companies, we've always done the most business in town. So anyways, I wanted to clear that up. And if you have any other questions about properties in Whistler or the real estate market here, please feel free to just drop me a message below, type Dean in the comments section, or you can hit me up with a direct message. And I hope you got some value out of today's show. Please share this to your friends, and we'll see you next week on the Whistler Real Estate Ask Me Anything show. Talk to you soon.